damage.
He is supply capped right now, but I don't think that's going to be much of a concern for him at this moment.
Now we have a Baneling Nest going down, and we also know that Timon saw the infestation pit during his push, so he knows that heavy anti-bio play is in the mix.
I wonder about that Baneling nest though. There were quite a few. There were some Marines, but it was mostly Marauders doing all that damage. And Banelings are just not very good against Marauders. It takes quite a few of them to kill one off.
That is true, and actually I gotta say, Timon doesn't know about that Baneling Nest, so he is kind of going to be a little bit vulnerable until he gets a nice full tech switch. I do like that he's incorporating some Thors in the mix. Those Thors are really good at soaking up Baneling damage.
Thor's also very good at taking out Roaches due to the extremely high damage they do.
That is true. Thors used to be pretty effective against Roaches. I know a lot of people would say Zerg should get Roaches to handle Thors, but I always felt that Roaches and Thors could have put on equal footing. But I think since this last patch, but Roaches got that range over here, I think Roaches do now have the upper hand against Thors, especially since you can get so many Roaches for one Thor in terms of KOTH.
That's definitely true, but if you adding in the fact that the Thor does have a slight range advantage over the Roaches, and if you have Marauders in the mix, certainly Thor by itself against some Roaches is going to be in trouble. But adding Marauders into the mix, you're going to see the Thor is going to be able to do quite a bit of uninterrupted damage against those Roaches.
Now, Damus does have these Infestors nicely positioned on top of the cliff. Scratch that, he's moving out. He knows what he's up against. We've got a couple of bunkers trying to go down by Timon, and if those bunkers go down, then that is going to be hard to contain all the Zerg forces. Damus poking forward with these Roaches. He sees what he has against. He says, you know what, I can take it. He moves forward with the Infestors. Great for the road going down the Marines. We have Banelings coming to do a lot of damage. Oh no, but so many of these Roaches
Marines
are going
going
so
down.
quickly.
That Fungal Growth doing so much damage. Ooh. Looks like he's going to lose. Almost loses another Hellion. Those Infestors dropping out half-dozen infested Marines.
The Infestors just kind of saying, what up? Here's some infested Terran for you to kill.
Another Thor and a Siege Tank coming in.
A lot of reinforcements for Timon coming in. He's actually building up a lot of minerals. It's a bit of a mistake. He could be throwing down 1 or 2 expansions, or at least be pumping Marines out of barracks or Hellions. I mean, you just want to use those minerals.
Timon has picked up his gold expansion, so it's not quite working yet, but once that goes up and starts getting saturated, he's going to see a huge influx of minerals. More siege tanks on the way. He is moving some SCVs to the gold expansion.
Damus is in a really tight spot. The Terran player is setting up a really hard contain, even as bunkers, turrets, siege tanks coming in, and he knows it. He busts out the Asian face. He's got to try and do something. I want to see either a Nidus Canal or drops, but he's got to pull some trickery because what he's doing right now just isn't working. He moves forward again with the Roaches. He knows he's in a tough spot. He has to do something before the tank gets too aggressive.
Manages to snipe a Thor.
Oh,
You
no,
may see both these Thors go down.
Oh, wow. He does so much damage to the Terran player, but those bunkers are going to be what it takes to tip the favor and forward of the Terran player. He does contain. Oh, wait. It's so close.
Looks like these Roaches are going to be almost enough.
Oh my!
And that bunker is going to burn down if that SCV doesn't get to it soon enough.
Oh, the Roach escapes and the bunker burns down. So the contain just barely broken. But Timon has a huge force massed up at home out of Xel'Naga Tower. He could push forward with that, and this time Siege Mode is finished. Siege Mode is what would have really helped him in that battle, but with that being completed, he's going to have no problem handling all these Roaches.
And Damus getting 2 expansions, his gold and the natural, on his alternate side position.
By Damus. He knows that he has lost map control for so long, so he is correctly assuming that the Terran player is ahead in expansions, and when you're behind in expansions, you gotta do something crazy like mass expand yourself.
You see quite a sizable force from Timon at this Xel'Naga watchtower, though, so if he moves out with this, Damus could be in some serious trouble, but he may just be holding up and waiting for more Thors to come out. We see more siege tanks on the way, and some Hellions, but no more Thors. We decided those just weren't worth the time.
Damus wasting no time at all getting these expansions up, actually preemptively throwing down the extractors, so the moment those expansions are up, he's going to be able to start mining the gas out of them. It's got a pretty significant Roach and Zergling force. I'm a little disappointed to see there are no upgrades on those units. Roaches are just so effective when you get upgrades. Meanwhile, the Terran player actually pretty far ahead in upgrades. He's got 0 and 2 on his infantry and 0 and 1 on his mech.
And he's also working on both infantry upgrades right now, so he'll soon be at. And he's working on 1 and 1 right now. Or working on 3 and 1.
Just as the hive completes. Let's take a look and see. And yes, Timon does see the spire going down, so he can be expecting some airplay. And even the Hydra Den. We haven't seen any Hydras get made just yet, but now he knows that they are coming.
Damus with the second hatchery in his own base, producing drones for his expansions.
I really like that Timon has a Raven in the mix. I mean, one Raven is just so effective. You can push back those creep trimmers, you can throw down some PDDs if you're dealing with the roaches, and even a couple auto turrets. I've seen some players throw down a wall of auto turrets, and here we go, big push by Timon. He's got those siege tanks in place to deal with the roaches. Oh, so many banelings, even Professor and things stopping them, and he's locking them down. But those siege tanks are just doing so much damage, and Damus is forced to pull back.
And there really weren't enough Marines to make those banelings worth the effort. There's still some left, but just the Marauder count with the siege tanks, those banelings just dropped like rocks.
Here we go, Terran player using his unit advantage, going to take up the He's got to siege those tanks up so quickly before Damus gets in position. And oh no, he's got to siege those tanks up right now. Oh, Damus decides to pull back. There's just too many Marauders. Those Roaches are just outclassed right now, especially with that huge upgrade differential. The Marauders now a 1-2. The gold expansion does go down. A couple Mutas on the field now, and actually that's a really good call, because in this mix, Timon does not have that much anti-air. Here we go, another big push. Oh,
Marauders getting...
just taking the Roaches so quickly.
Marauders just now getting the third weapon upgrade, so those Marauders are going to be doing 26 damage a shot against those Roaches.
Oh, that is just so much damage, so tough for a Zerg player to deal with. And really, at this point in the game, I don't know if there's much the Zerg player can do. I mean, really...
Doesn't have that fourth expansion working at all. Was committed too much to his gold.
Timon moving forward with his last big push. Tons of reinforcements streaming in. A bunch of Marines also to deal with the Mulas. Damus sees what he's up